And now it's Boomer Life. Lifestyle ideas designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation. This is Boomer Life with Sterling Fox.
Well, hello and welcome to Boomer Life here on AM 650. On the program today, we're talking retirement living with the folks from Shannon Oaks and Baptist Housing in Vancouver. Always a pleasure to welcome Jillian Fullerton back to the program. Hello.
Hello, Sterling. It's good to be here.
It's nice to have you with us. Jillian is the sales manager for Baptist Housing, and you're based at Shannon Oaks down there in East Vancouver.
That's true, in Killarney.
That's right. And we have another guest that we'll hold for a couple of minutes. We have a resident from Shannon Oaks to introduce too. But Jillian, just before we introduce Alma to our listeners, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been in the business of seniors and retirement living for quite some time, but only at Shannon Oaks for less than a year. So tell us about your background.
Well, I've been in the senior retirement community business for about 20 years.
Okay.
I hesitate to say, but it's been a wonderful 20 years. I've seen a variety of different types and different experiences. I've had different positions, mainly in marketing, but I've been executive director of one. I've seen high-end places. I've seen mid-range. I've seen affordable places. Mm-hmm. Different policies and different atmospheres completely. And what I find at Shannon Oaks is remarkable. Remarkable because the staff is happy. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it's Baptist Housing, but to live at Shannon Oaks, you don't have to be Christian.
Well, you see, you just stole my first question. Only because you and I have done this before. Because the organization that runs Shannon Oaks is indeed Baptist Housing with several other properties province-wide.
That's true,
but
17.
It is not a requirement to become a resident at Shannon Oaks to produce a membership card in the Baptist Church. Now,
nor a Christian. You can be any denomination or none at all.
Right, okay.
The benefit I find after working with many places in different organizations is that both the staff and the residents are on the benefiting side of the Christian philosophy. So there's compassion, caring. The staff is cared about. There is very little change in staffing. Mm-hmm. They're happy to go to work. So you have a real team there that are working together to make the property a success, a team that wants it to be good. And that's the main difference. I've worked at other places where people come to work begrudgingly. Mm-hmm. People come to work and they complain as soon as they step foot across the door. It's not a nice atmosphere. Mm-hmm. At Shannon Oaks, it's quite a different story. I noticed that right away. I noticed that even before I went there in working with the leadership team from Baptist Housing. What a wonderful group.
So it's interesting, the staff morale, and that's perceptible from the moment you walk in the door of any community. Even though they don't think that it's as evident as it is. But if you're looking and you're shopping particularly, you can tell in no time flat whether you're at a place with a happy staff or not, can't you?
You can.
You can't fake that.
That translates into how the residents are treated. Staff becomes extended family to the residents. Right. They really are a kind of an extended family. If one person is there today and gone tomorrow with no explanation, mm-hmm. what do you do? Mm-hmm. I mean, what are you to think? You know, it's like they've been wiped off the face of the earth and you hear of them no more. Right. And that is an experience in a lot of places.
Interesting. Now, this is also a banner year for Shannon Oaks and for Baptist Housing in BC because it's the big 5-0. It's a huge anniversary.
It's a huge anniversary. So we're celebrating it in every aspect that we can. We are going to have a wonderful sort of gala dinner. We're going to everything is 50th anniversary in terms of letting people know that we've been around for 50 years and we're doing a good job.
Right. Now let's meet our other guest on the program tonight. Alma Battersby is a resident at Shannon Oaks and has been for a number of years. Welcome to Boomer Life and thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for asking me.
How long have you been a resident
of
Shannon Oaks?
Well, it will be 9 years come October.
Wow.
So I must really like it.
When you first moved there, the apartment that you're living in now was under construction. So
That's correct.
You were able to cherry pick exactly
right.
what your future accommodations were going to be like.
Exactly. Tom at the time was in charge. He brought a huge map out and stuck a green sticker where I said I'd like to be there. Close to the dining room, close to the elevator, close to everything, and a ground floor because at that time I had a little dog, and I wanted to be on the ground floor, and everything was just, I could watch it go up. I used to drive by periodically and watch it go up because I lived in the area.
Right. Now, and you're a retired teacher, I should
yes,
probably mention that too. Now, you said you used to drive by and watch the progress of the new wing being constructed. When you moved into Shannon Oaks, did you take your car with you?
Oh, certainly. I'm still driving.
Oh, still driving. So there's still parking and all of that?
Oh, yes. It's underground parking. Very good. Everything's very good.
Why did you pick Shannon Oaks?
Well, I was living very close by, a matter of blocks away, and so the area is very familiar to me. And they were building the first part of Shannon Oaks, and they had a display suite, and they had a big billboard, and they were having some kind of an opening function, which I decided I think I'll go and see what's up.
Sure.
And they showed you this suite, demonstration suite, and they gave you the talk of what was going on there. And I thought, I think I'd like to live there someday. I had no thoughts of going there at that time, but I thought, someday I think I will. And I did.
Right. So the difference, I think, here, Jillian, between the experience that Alma is describing to us and many other people who have come to live at Shannon Oaks is that Alma was in the driver's seat right from the get-go.
Yes.
Alma, you took your time. You decided on your own accord, at your own speed, that someday I'm going to move into a seniors retirement community when I'm good and ready.
Yes.
And when it's that time, I'm going to make the investigation, and I will pick and choose where I want to go.
That's true. And I think that is so much wiser to having to go, or somebody's making you go. If you're making the choice yourself and you want to go, it's a totally different experience.
I can well imagine.
She's right.
Now, Jillian, you're the marketing person, and when we boomers are making inquiries on behalf of our parents, in many cases, about retirement community living, you're, in many cases, the first person we're going to see when we show up at Shannon Oaks. Oh, you'll want to meet Jillian. Well, come on down here, and here's her office. And so they have that conversation. But Alma was in a position when she went and made the decision to go, it was completely voluntary. It was completely on her own.
That's
no
correct.
Pressure, no kids going, Mom, we got to get you out of the house and into this community. What percentage, Jillian, of people who come to see you with inquiries about Shannon Oaks are in the enviable position Alma was in, which is in the driver's seat, making the call all by herself, again, on her own time, at her own speed, versus boomers who want to put their parents into a community now?
Alma is the preferred resident, preferred client. That's the type we would love to have, coming with her own volition, making her own choices in the driver's seat.
Right.
Ideally, that is the best. That goes the most smoothly because she can choose. That is not the most. The greater percentage are those with the adult children saying, Mom, Dad, I'm worried about you living alone. And Mom, Dad, hanging on to the house saying, I'm fine here.
Right.
I'm okay. And clearly they're not. And the more clearly they're not, the more resistance seems to hang in there. There's a bit of denial, perhaps.
Alma,
sorry.
sorry, Alma, I need to interrupt you. I'm sorry, Jillian, but Alma and I had a coffee just before we started here. And you mentioned before you moved to Shannon Oaks, you were living by yourself in a 4-bedroom townhouse. Way too much house for one person.
Correct.
But, again, you realized that, and you, again, decided, well, this is crazy. I don't need all this. And, again, the difference there, though, Jillian, is Alma realizing on her own, this is nuts. I don't need all this room for me. So why don't I downsize? And yet a lot of the people, most of the people who end up in your office making inquiries about seniors retirement community living aren't in that enviable position, are they?
No, they're not. And for whatever reason, they are brought in with an adult child of theirs.
A boomer.
A boomer, yes, something like that.
That's
right. It's maybe it's because the government encourages people to stay at home and will bring the services to you. Maybe that's the reason. So people are living in their homes longer and getting all of the maintenance things done.
Right.
And having, if they need help with their medications, having people visit them. But what happens with that, in my opinion, what happens with that is that the people suffer from isolation. The senior is isolated, and they may interact with a caregiver who is maybe 60 years younger than they, and that's difficult. Mm-hmm. It's they don't get the social integration that they need.
Right.
The social stimulation that's really important. Whether you're sharing meals with people, doing activities with people, that is an important part of healthy living.
Now, Alma, you said you're a pretty gregarious, outgoing,
yes,
sort of
I think so.
social person.
I think so.
And that was another one of the prompts that pushed you to making the decision to move to a retirement community. Again, a real big old house, but kind of quiet. Yeah. Not a lot of interaction going on.
That's very true. But I remained an active person. I mean, I went into support groups and facilitated various things and did some work for the Parkinson's Society because my husband had Parkinson's and passed away as a result of it. And I did a lot of volunteer work at different community centers. And I'm an outgoing person, and so I didn't find the isolation. It wasn't appropriate to me.
Right,
Yeah.
because you were able to jump in the car and buzz around
Right,
town
right,
and connect
right.
with people.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And she didn't have to have services coming to her. Her health was not at that. You were, I assume.
Well, I did have a housekeeper because I'm lazy, basically. I mean,
that's great.
teaching all my life, I had somebody come in and do my housework because I hated it anyhow.
Right. Well, at least on a teacher's salary, you were able to support someone else's
right.
and entrepreneurial activities.
True.
So talk to us a little bit about stuff. Because in that 4-bedroom, big old house that you left before you moved into Shannon Oaks, you had a lot of stuff. Now, Jillian and I have, on many previous occasions, discussed how stuff becomes an excuse of convenience for people who are reluctant to think even think about the notion of moving to a seniors community, Alma. The concept is abhorrent to them. They can't wrap their heads around it. So what they do is go, I couldn't possibly, this is a lifetime of accumulation here. This is a lifetime of memories. I've taken, 50, 60, 70 years to put this together. I'm not going to walk away from this. What do you think about that?
Well, I didn't feel that way. I guess I'm an anomaly here. But my daughter and I got together. She was living in a rented accommodations, and we got together, and I said, now let's do this right. You can come and live in this house, and I'll go to Shannon Oaks. So we got together, and we got our different furnishings, what we will need, what I will need, what we won't need. We had at least 3 big garage sales and sold things off.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not really the type of person that has to hang on to things. Mind you, I have hung on to some things. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm not, I'm not that type of person. And so I didn't find it arduous except for work. It was work getting it organized.
Of course, yeah.
And I left a lot of, like my dining room suite and things like that. I left them, and my daughter now has them.
Okay.
That's
so
nice.
the move was not anything unhappy for me.
So, and everyone benefited. You moved to a seniors community that you've been just thrilled to be a part of for 9 years.
Right.
Your daughter gets your house. Hello. God bless you, Mom. I mean, everybody benefits from that situation.
It worked out very well. It worked out very well.
And
I still feel I have my home. If I want to have a group of people together, I can have it at my house. It's only 5 or 6 blocks away from where I am now.
But you can also have it in the private dining room.
I've done that
Shannon
too.
Oaks. There
I've
you
done
go.
that too.
Yeah.
So when you want to have a family group over, then you can certainly accommodate that at Shannon Oaks too.
Yes,
right?
yes. Oh, yes. My life is pretty stress-free, and I'm happy.
In terms of stuff, back to that for just a quick second before we need to take a break. Obviously, you said you've still hung on to a few things.
You bet.
You do have an apartment, after all, a two-bedroom apartment. Okay, so you've got lots of room for the stuff that matters most.
That's correct. We also have quite a good storage unit downstairs in the building, and I must say mine's full.
Okay.
When was the last time you visited it?
Oh, well, I'm an organizer.
Okay.
I have my winter clothes and my summer clothes, and I change it. Take the summer ones down, bring the winter ones up.
Oh, so you've got a storage locker in the basement?
Yes.
And good.
And I use it.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that when you moved into Shannon Oaks, you had a little dog. So you had an apartment on the ground floor with a patio, so the pooch could get in and out and stretch her legs when she wanted to.
Yes.
Now the dog is no longer there, but are there still other animals in the building
There's
that you
one.
can connect with every now and then?
Well, being on the ground floor, I see lots of dogs go by, and I have a conversation with all of them at any time that I can. I am a dog lover, and I really do miss my little pet, but I understand. I understand why.
Right, but it is pet friendly, isn't it?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
You can
yes.
bring a.
It has to be around 20 pounds or so. It can't be a big dog.
You don't want any Great Danes roaming the hallways.
No.
Shannon Oaks is at 2526 Waverly Avenue in Killarney country, as our guest Gillian Fullerton likes to call it. And our other guest is Alma Battersby. We're talking retirement living at Shannon Oaks and Baptist Housing here on Boomer Life on AM 650. Lots more still ahead, too. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on AM 650.